All right, y'all, we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see if it has BSS with its main Google search. And we're back in the GBC universe, taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that in the pin post or whatever, the main post of this profile. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. It means we're missing out on the highest, somewhere along this intent capture curve, we're missing out on the highest intent people, the lowest intent people somewhere. Usually it's the highest intent people. So over on the left, we're focusing on the highest intent people. If we're missing them, it means normally we've got BSS, boudoir search sameness. Over on the right, BLCS, that is our sister brand of boudoir FB ad doctor. Right now for a boudoir photographer spending more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. But BSS here, we're focusing on highest intent people searching for a boudoir photo shoot right now on social search and Google search. So the highest intent peeps. Now, boudoir search sameness is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots, terrible on page 1 because we know that approximately 80% of all Google searches never go to page 2. So we care about that 80%. That's the bulk, which means we definitely got to be page 1, and then we got to maximize ourselves being on page 1. And 1 slot on page 1 Google is not good enough because everyone else on there has got 1 slot as well. So we're looking the same as everyone else. We're essentially still invisible. Now, 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's extremely common, but it is not normal. We actually need to have 3 out of 10 on page 1 of Google at a minimum. That's the GBC minimum we shoot for here at the local search and the city search levels. So 0 1 slots on page 1 is not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about. And the second, the false belief of page 1 equality. This second part, the false belief of page 1 equality, from what I see, is the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses. So market saturation, that means, more boudoir photographers entering the market, seems like every day. Every time someone gets a new iPhone, they're throwing up their Google My Business profile, throwing up their website. If they get a camera, they're posting in the mom groups on Facebook saying they do boudoir photo shoots now. And what does that do? That gunks up page 1 of Google search. And when that happens, then when that gets gunked up, we get pushed down to only 1 slot on page 1, or we get pushed off all the way to page 2. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality is the biggest killer because everyone believes that it's normal. Hey, I had 1 slot on page 1. Yeah, more boudoir photographers entered the market. Now I'm on page 2. I got my 1 slot on page 2. That's it. And that's simply how it goes. But no, that's a false belief because I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in 10 days using the solution I'm going to show today. And it's a false belief because it's not true, but it's the #1 killer boudoir photography businesses that I've seen because people just kind of relent to the fact that, market got more saturated and, what are you going to do? That's normal. We got pushed off. It is what it is. And now we also know that a boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Either disappearing because they got 1 link, same as everyone else, so they kind of become invisible, boudoir search sameness, or they're kicked off page 1 completely on page 2, and it literally makes them extra invisible. And, disappearing boudoir photographer, that is a precursor to a disappearing boudoir photography business. That's kind of the canary in the coal mine. So we can see our universe taking shape here. A DBP with BSS is caused by market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Luckily, we got a solution here though, because BSS is treated with social search saturation. So it's our S-cubed methodology that we invented. And again, I use this to go from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in 10 days. And this is the only thing I've seen that is able to successfully fight back against market saturation. Here's why. So, A, people have to accept that page 1 equality is a false belief before they even use it. But B, once they use it, let's say we take it to the max, you know, GBC minimum, we're trying to get 3 out of 10 for local search and then city search using the SQ'd methodology. Well, let's say we take it to the max and, let's say there's a million boudoir photographers in our city, like Cincinnati. And we do SQ'd methodology to the max. So we're literally ranked for the highest intent keywords, the first 300 slots, on Facebook search, Instagram search, TikTok search, YouTube search. We're the only ones that can be found, and the result of that is we're also the only ones ranked the top 300 searches in Google. 10 organic searches per page times 30 pages. And even if there's a million boudoir photographers in our city, we don't even notice. Our business keeps growing because everyone else has BSS, boudoir search sameness, either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And no matter where anyone turns, we're basically the only option they can find. So that's why, again, SQ'd methodology is the only thing I've seen that's able to successfully fight back against market saturation. Now, once you're with SQ'd methodology, we now have page 1 visibility. This means we hit our GBC minimum 3 out of the 10 organic slots. Now we're looking way different. Everyone else got 1, maybe one special person's got 2, but we got 3. I mean, we're standing out. People actually see us by the 3rd time they're scrolling down and see our name again. The second bonus is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1. Every extra link we get on page 1 kicks an extra competitor off, kicks them to page 2, effectively making them invisible because we're focusing on the approximately 80% of Google searches that never click past and actually go to page 2. Now, page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So again, people can actually see us in the search, even though previously we were there with our 1 slot. Now we want to get there for our 3 out of 10 slots. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, which, dude, that's a precursor to anyone buying from us. If we're invisible, no one's buying from us. If we're disappearing, fewer and fewer people are buying from us, but if we're visible. And dude, this is just starting the momentum. We can continue the momentum and take 4 slots on page 1, 5 slots on page 1. Kind of as far as we can push it. It's basically as far as the strategy will take us. This is our full universe here. Declining boudoir photographer or disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and the number 1 boudoir photography business killer, the false belief of page 1 equality. No. We can have as many slots on Google page 1 as we want to put in the effort to acquire. I've already proven it. We'll see that in the next picture. Do that by utilizing SQ'd methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. This is the correct track we gotta be on to become the number 1 boudoir photographers in our city. So my use using SQ'd methodology, kind of my most recent use, ranking for BLCS Boudoir. So this is for the other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And got an AI overview here. Okay, that's not me yet. Then we got Google Map Pack. Now we're go to the organic. So we got Instagram, organic 1, Instagram, organic 2. Then we got organic 3, me. Organic 4, me. Organic 5, me. Organic 6, me. Organic 7, me. Organic 8, me. Organic 9, not me. Organic 10, me. So I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots. Page 1 of Google in 10 days. And this is all by using the S-cubed methodology. Now we're going to check out, we're going to see if this boudoir photography business has BSS, kind of the basis for all this stuff. So let's see. So we gotta do a search Boudoir photography Las Vegas. All right. All right, so we got Boudoir photographer Las Vegas, Nevada. So let's see. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, there we go. All right, we got one. 1 out of 10. Nice. All right. We got 1 out of 10. So we do have BSS, Boudoir search sameness, because we got 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google search for high intent keywords here. And ideally, we would want to get to our GBC minimum of 3 out of 10, because then we can basically guarantee we're not a bit disappearing boudoir photographer. At minimum, we're treading water, or we could actually be growing. So we do want to get to 3 out of 10. So if you're a boudoir photographer and you've got BSS boudoir search sameness for your own business, you're seeing the market's getting more and more saturated over time, and you feel like you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, or gonna become disappearing, because of what we'll talk about in like 10 seconds. And you also see that the page 1 inequality is a false belief. Like everyone kind of automatically accepted because there was no like word to describe it, to say, hey, I believe this is true or not true. But now we got a word to describe it. And you're seeing the way AI is creeping in. More and more people being laid off. Which, what was the last time that happened? COVID. What happened? Massive influx of boudoir photographers. Massive influx. Massive supply. All fighting for the same eyeball, approximately the same number of buyers. So it's getting harder and harder for each boudoir photographer that enters the market. And you're saying, okay, it looks like I do need the S cubed methodology to kind of preempt or prepare myself for AI pushing more boudoir photographers into the market, which means there's going to be more competition for page 1 on Google search. But if I can preempt that, get there already, and it's probably already happening right now as we speak, then we can be prepared to not become a disappearing boudoir photographer. Can achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer, even though more are probably going to be joining, and achieve boudoir search visibility, and get the extra bonuses on the back end, where kind of the more these thematic keyword columns are attached to our brand throughout social, things like that, social search, and the higher chance we show up in AI overview search here at the top of Google searches, and the higher chance we show up among AI search in general, ChatGPT search, Microsoft Copilot search, Google Gemini search, Claude search, Perplexity search, whoever. When we have these like thematic keyword pillars entwined with us across all our social channels, ranking on Google, this is where the AIs pull from. So we're increasing the probability to show up in all these searches as a back-end benefit. And we're also noticing that if someone else starts using S cubed methodology for their boudoir photography business before us in our city, all those front-end benefits, page 1 Google, kicking competitors off, could happen to us. And those back-end benefits, them showing up in AI search instead of us. And then, well, you wouldn't be able to work with me, because I'm only working with 1 person per city. So you'd have to figure out S cubed methodology on your own and then implement it all on your own. And you'd have to actually meet the work output of the other boudoir photographer using it in conjunction with me, and exceed us to catch up and overtake us before we overtake page 1 on Google, kind of push it as far as we want to. And so you've decided, all right, I'll literally, it's better to simply be a first mover, because you know you need this on your way to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. So if that's you, shoot me a DM when I open up for new patient intake. Right now the hospital's closed. My DMs are closed. Cannot get in even if you wanted to. But shoot me a DM for when I do open up the doors, and we'll see if you qualify. We gotta have some questions. Gotta make sure I'm not working with anyone else in your city. And yeah, we'll see if you qualify.